What is up YouTube, and today we're going to be talking about the current limited banner that is running from the 3rd of October, so basically yesterday until the 17th of October for 2 weeks. And we're going to be talking about how you guys actually want to build her, as well as if she is worth pulling for. Now this unit, guys, she is limited, so she is only available probably I'd say a couple of times a year, and she's not available from the regular Covenant Summon banner, so she definitely is harder to get than other units. And she is one of the better PvP units in the game while being significantly strong in PvE as well. And let's actually talk about why. So if we actually look at her skills here, her S3 is a single target attack. She gets attack buff for herself. And then you'll also see, we'll see her push herself by 35%. Now the big part is that when the target's max health is greater than the caster's max health, you will penetrate the target's defense with a rate that scales proportionally. And this will always crit. You're also going to notice that her S1 will always crit as well, meaning that she doesn't need any crit chance, and this skill is super strong against high health units. So against units like Blood Moon Haste, Death Dealer Ray, LILIAS, just anything in general. Even if they have very high defense, it doesn't matter because you're penetrating pretty much all the defense, if not the majority. And this can actually one-shot very tanky units, or almost one-shot, which makes it very strong. Even if you miss out on the one shot, you'll see that her S2 will give you a huge benefit. So first off, you'll see at the start of battle and at the end of the turn, you get damage limit. It's a buff. This gets stopped by unbuffable and seal, so you have to make sure that you try to keep that off your Midnight GALA LILIAS. This can also get dispelled, and you're going to see that this will actually make it so that when she gets attacked, she can't take more than 35% of her max HP, so you can't actually 2-hit her or 1-hit her, you need to 3-hit her. And you'll also see when you actually attack and the enemy is actually 50% health or less, you'll activate Now or Never. Now or Never is an AoE attack buff for your team with also a 15% CR push, and with your S3 doing a ton of damage against very tanky units, you're going to see most of the time that this will proc very easily. If you are against squishier units, you might want to opt for S1. This will actually deal more damage, and that's because her S1 is a single target attack that hits very hard. It will also heal her, and the heal will scale with their attack, and this will always crit as well. So very powerful, right? You can see her very commonly in aggressive team compositions, mostly because she can break through very tanky teams while also giving your team a CR push and attack buff. And she's also just very good against teams that are just very slow and they don't really have ways to actually dispose of her. So like Ikarina with her extra damage can dispose of her pretty easily. Something like Rimuru completely counters her, right? Dispels and like unbuffables can do okay against her as well. But if you pick her later into the draft in RTA, she's very good. She's also very good in Guild Wars offense, and in PvE she's amazing for Nightmare Raid against Druleaf Council. She just does a ton of damage there, constantly CR pushing your team while also doing a ton of damage with her S3 and having built-in sustain. So very powerful unit, you know, hits very hard, decently tanky with her damage limit. She also has some utility with her CR pushing and attack buff, and she also has built-in sustain, which makes her very strong. Now looking at her artifact, Hostess of the Banquet. So this actually got recently buffed. Basically what's happening, or not, it didn't get buffed yet, but it will get buffed. So as it is right now, you get effect resist up to 40%, 30% at plus 15. This is staying the same. But right now you'll see that if you're attacking and the target's health is 50% or more, you get extra damage. This is actually going to be split into two effects. So first, it's going to be just a flat damage increase, and another one is going to be, you know, the add-on effect is going to be if the target's health is 50% or more, you get extra damage. So it just makes it way more consistent. If you're attacking units with less than 50% health, after the buff, you'll still get a slight damage boost, which is very nice. I personally think that this artifact is okay. The effect resist seems very weird on her, but because you want to prevent her damage limit from getting stripped, you can build her on effect resist build, but most of the time you're ignoring effect resist completely. But if you do want to go for an effect resist build on her, this is the best artifact. If you want to go for the standard just full damage build, still a good idea to pick up one copy because it's limited, and since it's getting buffed a ways after the banner for her ends, what will end up happening, or might end up happening, is a unit can suddenly use this artifact and be very good. So I would say, you know, if you don't actually get a copy of this when pulling for her, probably buy one copy with your Powder of Knowledge. Overall though, I think for her banner, definitely want to go for Midnight GALA LILIAS. Super strong unit for PvP and PvE. very easy to build because she doesn't need crit chance, and her artifact, having just one copy, whether it be from pulling while you're going for Midnight GALA or from the Powder of Knowledge shop, is probably your safest bet. Now for her build, so I'm not gonna lie, my Midnight GALA isn't the best. I'm missing out on a lot of stats because, as I mentioned, you know, she doesn't need any crit chance, you always crit, but to be fair, it is pretty hard to actually get 0% crit chance. I have 22, which is insanely high, so you definitely want to try to reduce this to plus 0% and then allocate her stats anywhere else. I also have effectiveness, which is very bad, but in general, you want speed set on her. For her secondary stat, you want either effect resist if you're going for an effect resist build, or you want torrent set, which is way more common. Now if you don't have torrent set, you can put her on just a broken set, it is fine. You definitely don't want any health on her. The most important thing about building Midnight GALA is to keep her health as low as possible. So because of that, torrent set is just extremely good on her. So if you can, definitely go for torrent set. And yeah, all you pretty much need is attack and crit damage on torrent set, and you want speed depending on how you want to use her. I'd say anything above like 240 speed, 230 speed is fine. If you want to build her faster like mine, you can do it, and then you can use her to snipe out tankier bruisers. But primarily, the only thing you need her on high speed for is to just outspeed just like tanky bruisers here. And the most common one you're going to fight is something like LILIAS, and LILIAS you can commonly see at like 250 speed. So eventually you do want to actually bring up your Midnight GALA to actually higher speed to outspeed those LILIAS. That way you can actually just one-shot them, or almost one-shot them at the start of battle. And even if you miss out the one-shot, you get the CR push, and your team can actually, you know, take their turn and do work. Now for artifact, her best artifact is Wind Rider. This is very good because it gives her attack boost, which will actually make it so that you do more damage and heal more. And also if you kill a unit, you get a stealth for one turn, which makes her very annoying to deal with and very frustrating. This artifact is just broken by design against one-shotting units such as Midnight GALA, so it's very good on her. If you don't have access to Wind Rider, you can use a lot of other ones. Of course, you can use her own if you have her on an effect resist build, which honestly I don't really recommend too much. Or you can put her on Symbol of Unity for extra damage here, or just whatever damage dealing artifact you have at your disposal. So, you know, very strong unit. Definitely recommend pulling for her. Like I said, my build isn't that great. I would ideally drop this crit chance and put it into probably speed. But yeah, as long as you actually have her at like 240 speed with low health and just like rest into crit damage and attack, you should be good to go. Remember, you don't have to one-shot every bruiser or tank with her. Even if you just, you know, do 70% of her, or even if you just do like 70% of their health and then activate your S2, you're fine because her S1 hits like a truck as well. And eventually you will proc your Wind Rider, which will make her very annoying as well. So definitely a must-pull unit, I'd say, because of not just her limited banner, but just because she's also just a very powerful unit. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys go for her and how many pulls it takes you. If you guys already have her and you aren't pulling for her, let me know what you guys have her built on and what you guys feel about this unit. Thank you all again for watching, guys, and of course I'll see you guys next time in my next video. Peace.